Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Africa Today, where we get you the latest news and events that's taking place on the African scene. And we will start off with our major top stories of the day. On behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli participates in the UN Food Systems Summit in Rome, Italy on Monday. The three-day summit is organized and hosted at the premises of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. It aims at evaluating food systems performance in 2023. During the conference, the head of the Food Systems and Food Security in UN organization FAO called for facing global food challenges with taking into consideration the economic, social, and environmental factors. Welcome back, and we're delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Mohammed Fahim, advisor of the Minister of Agriculture. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Dr. Fahim, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli is participating at the UN Food Systems Summit in Rome, Italy. The three-day summit is organized and hosted at the premises of the Food and Agriculture organizations. It aims at evaluating food systems performance in 2023. How do you see the significance of Egypt's participation at this event?
The food summit, which held in Rome under the UN agencies FAO, and this summit is very important for all the countries, not only for Egypt, because you know the food crisis now is a famous crisis on the international from the international view. The Egyptian government already adopt a national food and nutrition strategy in November 2022, aimed at achieving healthy, safe, and sustainable food system. So it's very important to share the experience of countries, the experience of international organizations with the Egyptian platform of the food system issued in Egypt. So it's very important this participation from the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, in this conference.
Right. Well, sir, the summit comes at a time amid challenging factors facing the world and specifically the African countries, where the world agri-food systems to provide nutritious food and more sustainable life for all is not that easy, including the changing consumption patterns and climate change. All these are challenging factors to provide sustainable food systems, and specifically to the African countries. Now, how far do you think this summit will address the current crisis, the current food crisis?
You know, the Russian-Ukraine crisis now is very important because the impact of this crisis on the food and food value chain is now is an important issue for all the countries, especially the countries that suffer with the food supply, like African countries, like some developing countries. So the summit will put evaluation for the 5 pathways. You know, the last summit of food systems in 2021 is worked under the 5 pathways for the food system. So it's very important now for all the countries to evaluate what is the national achievement for those pathways. For that, the meetings and all the 3 days conference will cover all the parts related to the food system and 5 pathways that can assist and help the national strategy for the food system.
Right. Well, Dr. Fahim, the head of the Food Systems and Food Security at the UN organization FAO, called for facing global food challenges with taking into consideration the economic, social, and environmental factors. Now, how far can this be achieved?
You know, all countries have have already a national strategy to support their food security and food systems. By this summit, because the title of summit is stock-taking moment. What is the meaning of stock-taking moment? Is that how can the countries like Egypt or any African countries, how can evaluate the national efforts that already achieved during the last 2 years? How the country can evaluate it is the right way or not? So the participation for this summit and all the activities, all the activities under the 3 days is important for countries, for all countries to share the experience. It's very important for Egypt or to know how can the India, how can the China can work with the food system. So it's important participation in this summit.
Right. Sir, also the UN Children Agency said that 1.4 million children are suffering from malnutrition as famine looms Nigeria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen. Now, how can the UN and other international organizations deal with such a crisis?
You know, Egypt is already has a very important and we can call this the international system for the children or for the student food. Student food is a student in schools. We have like 60 million meal every day to the children. So this summit will offer all the content of meals for the children. Yes, some countries have a problem with the children meal content. So maybe it will offer a good assistance from the countries to the other countries how we can deal with the children and the children meal content.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Fahim, advisor of the Minister of Agriculture. Many thanks for your insight. And dear viewers, now we go to a short break and we'll be right back.
نحن لدينا مصير مشترك.